I look around this room, room 312, and sometimes I forget who I am supposed to be here. It's too new, too clean, too beige. Everything is the color of polite forgetting. My world used to be made of smells and sounds. The sharp scent of pine needles after a rainstorm, the way the third step on my old staircase groaned like an old man waking up, the glorious chaos of clutter. My life, my real life, was written on those uneven floorboards. Here, the carpet is flat and quiet. They call this place Sunnybrook Manor. I call it the waiting room. It's been 4 months since Clara and Robert brought me here. They had been trying for a year to convince me. The last time Robert visited the house, he found me standing in the kitchen, staring at the kettle, forgetting what I was supposed to be doing. That was the tipping point. The conversation that followed wasn't a fight, it was much worse. It was a slow, agonizing surrender. Clara, my practical one, held my hand so tight it hurt, and she looked right into my eyes. Mom, we are worried sick every minute of every day. We are doing this because we love you. We need to know you are safe. Love shouldn't feel like an eviction notice, but I knew she was right. They were two good, kind trees trying to hold up a storm damaged old house, and they were cracking under the weight. Packing was the hottest thing I've ever done. Not the clothes, but the things without names. The bowl my husband Thomas used for popcorn every Sunday, the little clay bird Robert made in kindergarten that sat on the mantel, the faded watercolor of a beach I'd never visited. I couldn't bring it all. I had to choose a few relics to represent 70 years. It felt like tearing pages out of a memoir. When the movers carried my worn wooden rocking chair out to the truck, I didn't watch. I just stood by the front window, listening to the squeal of the ramp, and I didn't look back until the car was halfway down the street. The house, suddenly empty, looked like a ghost of itself. Here, the days have a rhythm, but it's not my rhythm. It's the clock's rhythm. Breakfast at 7, activities at 10, lunch at noon. The nurses are angels, truly, but their kindness is distributed evenly among 30 residents. It feels professional. They know my name, Nia, but they don't know that I drink my tea so weak it's almost clear, or that I always listen to Chopin when the rain falls. The other residents are nice too. We share polite smiles and talk about the weather and the food, but everyone here is carrying their own ghost, and the silence between us is thick with unshared sorrow. I missed the simple acts of purpose. I missed folding Thomas's old sweaters, feeling the wool under my fingertips. I missed pulling the weeds in my rose bushes, feeling the soil crumble between my fingers. Here, my hands are idle, and that's when the memories rush in, uninvited and loud. They talk about safety, but what about the safety of being useful? What about the safety of belonging? One afternoon, sitting alone, I reached for the little box on my dresser, the one thing I was absolutely sure to bring. Inside was my small, tarnished silver locket. It doesn't look like much, but Thomas gave it to me right before he went overseas during the war. Not the big war, but a little one, ages ago. He said, "Carry this and know my heart is on the other side." It holds a faded picture now. Clara and Robert, maybe 3 and 5, their cheeks covered in chocolate icing from a birthday cake. When I held the locket that day, I wasn't thinking about the picture, but about Thomas. He came home, thank goodness, and he was tired too, the way my children are tired now. He never asked me to carry his burdens. He just asked me to hold a memory. I realized then that my children weren't trying to burden me with their worry. They were trying to release themselves from it so they could live their own lives fully. Their decision to put me here wasn't a failure of love, but a desperate success in prioritizing their own futures, something every parent hopes for. My job as a mother didn't end when they left home. It ended when I finally gave them permission to let go of me. That night, I asked the kindest nurse, bless her heart, if she could do me a huge favor. I pointed to the storage closet where my boxes were kept. The next morning, there it was, my old wooden rocking chair. It looked out of place against the modern wall, too dark, too worn, too real. It didn't belong, but that's exactly why I needed it. I moved it right into the corner, away from the television and the group activities. It was a statement. This is my ground. This is where Nia lives. When Clara and Robert arrived that Saturday, they stopped dead in the doorway. Their eyes went straight to the chair. I was sitting in it, rocking slowly, gently polishing the silver locket. I looked up and gave them a smile, the first one that truly reached my eyes in months. Took me a while to find my spot, I said. I patted the armrest. Now, sit with me. Robert sat on the edge of the rug, and Clara leaned her head against my knee, just like they did when they were small. We didn't talk much. We just sat, connected by the familiar, comforting creak of the wood. In that little, awkward corner of room 312, I finally felt safe, not because of the nurses or the emergency buttons, but because I had planted my own little piece of home right where I was. And I knew finally that the story wasn't over. It had just changed its setting.